Yeah, well, I kind of like the three words because that could spur other other points. I guess, kiddies, we were thinking, okay, so thinking about your experience during the last course, what three words would you use to describe that experience? So, what three words would you use to describe your experience during the course? Um, and maybe
Yeah.
just like the first things that come to mind.
Like opportunities, like, oh, three words. Okay, keeping it to three words. Uh, Connection, self-discovery, and hmm, transformation.
Mm.
Okay, I want to ask a question around it. My mind immediately when you said opportunities, I was like, what does that mean? Tell me more. And I could wait, but
Okay.
Mimi, maybe you.
Well, I was gonna say it's funny because I really didn't think about them beforehand, but um I was gonna say connected or like connected as well to myself, to others, just to the world. So connected for sure. Vulnerable, I think that it challenged me in ways that I didn't really expect, and empowering for sure, and kind of in that order. Yeah.
Mm.
That's good. Yeah, could you tell us about opportunities? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so with the first course I joined Shameless Speaker. Um, I've had and also done like presentations in the past, and that's usually when my anxiety and the need to kind of prepare for those events usually happen. But within our event, like this wasn't like anything formal. Like I'm not going to lose out on a promotion or lose this network if I make a hiccup or whatnot. So yeah, Shameless Speaker kind of was like my sandbox to kind of practice vocalizing my thoughts.
Yeah, I like that. And I was also curious about the connection because you both said connection or like something like that. So kind of maybe what does that mean to both of you?
Mm.
Yeah, for me, like being in a group of just like-minded individuals, like we all have our um, you know, things that we want to keep to ourselves, but like as we kind of meet on a weekly basis, we able to see like, oh, this person has this in common with me, or I relate to this person, that element. And we're able to kind of build that connection off of that. So yeah, community
Hmm.
and support.
Yeah, Mimi, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt very vulnerable in the course, but I think that opened me up to connection in ways that I didn't really think about. I thought I'm signing up for this course to become a better speaker, for example, at work. And I kind of left feeling that community and that support. You know, we all came from different backgrounds, kind of some of us different industries, living in different countries, and kind of seeing that we are all universally going through similar or desiring similar things. Um, it just felt really, really safe and comfortable to be able to practice, and just feeling connected to others. You know, I think that helped me in a way have empathy for myself. And yeah, like even we talk about the different parts of ourselves and seeing how the different parts of me kind of relate to the parts of other people that maybe pop up or have that perfectionism or approval seeking tendencies. It really helped me relate to other people and just have more empathy for myself and for others. So, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think because it's like people might think, well, how does community help me feel better or more confident with public speaking, right? Like, how do those two connect? Maybe it might be hard for people to understand why that could be important. Maybe Cadiz, you can like share a little bit, like why does community help you in that particular way?
Yeah, so when we're all going through like our own challenges, like for me, I used to believe like I'm the only one that experience this kind of fear or this kind of situation. And my past, and it seems like very individualized. And once I realized that other people kind of had like similar experiences, it was kind of like reassuring that I'm not alone in my own um, struggles, and that if one person aspires to kind of overcome that, I could do the same thing too. So it's like that kind of like herd mentality in the good sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I
I'm
thought
curious. Oh, go ahead.
that sparked something for me. I just
Mhm.
wanted to share quickly.
Please. Yeah.
There was a point in the course where when you talk about how does community help, um, there was a point where we talked about how being better listeners helps us become better speakers. And being mindful listeners will help us, I guess empathy is a theme here, but have empathy and be able to listen to others and so or speak better with others. So I think that for me, that's a key point with community. Just like getting curious and getting to know other people. It took me out of myself and I was able to kind of, yeah, receive, you know, others, but also, um, I don't know, it helped me to, I'm just thinking out loud,
Mm-hmm.
helping me, yeah, helping me become a more mindful and open listener, um, just allowed me to be able to speak more confidently, I think more authentically with others, and it allowed me to receive feedback and receive a lot of love from others and for myself too. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of the opposite of what I had thought. There's a lot of
Yeah.
internal.
And also to like add on to that, I feel like giving others space and also like mindfully like listening, I feel like that's the key to authenticity, which would lead to confidence in how you express yourself.
Do you have like an example or a moment or something where you practice that even like any time between when you first started to now, where you've noticed like, oh, me being more mindful or more of a listener has helps me connect or makes me feel a better speaker or whatever?
Yeah, so you actually helped me like notice this like right now. So even like before joining your program, I was mentoring someone that wants to like be in the whole like UX industry. And I wasn't able to like pick up like why am I confident in that one-on-one interaction, but yet I get anxiety when I'm doing like interviews or doing a coffee chat with someone that I never met before. And that's because I am doing that mindful listening and also holding space for that person. And I'm able to kind of communicate from a better core and standpoint.
That's such a great distinction because, like, you as a mentor, you're really trying to receive and try to like absorb as much as you can and really
Uh,
be there for that person. And
mhm.
so it makes it so much easier to respond because you are really trying to absorb and be there.
Yeah.
And maybe in other contexts, it might be like, we're not trying to be there for that person. We're barely just trying to be there for ourselves, like, oh, like just trying to get through
Start
it.
performing.
Yeah, you're performing. And that is such a beautiful distinction for how, like, if you can bring that absorbing another person, like a mentor role, like in an interview situation, that's kind of an interesting way to embody like something different and a different viewpoint that changes your answers and your response and be less in your head. I love that. Mimi, do you have any examples or just any story that you want to share? Any specific story about like something that surprised you or a moment where you're able to bring something into the program, into your life that had a unique result?
Um, Gosh, how do I just pick one? Well, just before I say that, something that sparked from what Khadijah just shared is I
Mhm.
had a similar aha moment when the distinction between when I travel and when I'm at work and feeling really anxious. Because when I travel to a new place, I love traveling. I know I'm gonna mess up. I've made mistakes, not knowing, getting timings wrong, maybe like not knowing the currency, the language, like I don't know anything and I kind of just embrace it and I'm like, let's do it for the experience. Yet at
Mm.
work, I get so anxious and I'm so afraid of failure. And so when we were doing some of the work on embodying a feeling. I think often too, like my love of travel and how exciting that is. And I try to bring that into these situations that give me a lot of anxiety, and that's helped a lot. But something I didn't expect, I think, was just all of the inner work, which I should have expected, but a lot of the inner child, connecting with myself. Like, I think the updating a memory was really powerful for me. Going back and being there for myself in situations, I didn't think of doing that, but being able to let go and be there for my past self has really helped me see how I can be there for my current self. And um, I, yeah, I just didn't expect all this inner healing that came along with the speaking confidence.
Yeah. Maybe my final question around that would be like, how might you think, maybe someone new would be like, why does inner healing help me be a better speaker? You know, why would that help? Right. Maybe if you can share something maybe to yourself before, which would be like, what inner healing? What does that have to do with that? What might you tell that person, Cadiz?
Mm, I guess like I would say that um like you don't know your um filters or your lens until you kind of take a step back and reflect. And that's kind of really important to reflect, to kind of understand um how you see through that subjective lens. And not even like a lens, but how you're seeing things through 10-year-old Cadiz, 14-year-old Cadiz, Cadiz's mom, different personas in that viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So being able to kind of take a step back from yourself to see it from a new perspective
Yeah.
has given you like, I'm going to put words in your mouth, like has given you kind of a new sense of how does that maybe connect to now the confidence or a new perspective relate to a newfound confidence now?
Um, like I'm able to like pivot my
Mm,
perspective
yeah. And kind of
and
does it help
well,
you change your, I guess, what you would do or change like certain actions you would take or how you show up?
yeah, it does. And that's because I have that knowing that I'm in control of um any outcome. Like I want to see myself um show up as Kitty's as confident, not someone that has anxiety here and there. Like I'm able to kind of pivot from that
Yeah, beautiful. What about you, Mimi?
power.
Oh, we have one more minute. We have one more minute.
Okay, if
Okay.
I had to just sum it up, the inner healing was so key to me because I needed to do that in order to trust, to begin the self-trust. So for me, the whole idea of I've got my own back, like I'm stronger than I think. I can, in any situation, like, I'm gonna make mistakes, but the fact that I've got my own back, I had to trust myself to really believe that. And so that's why going back in time and acknowledging those parts of myself that were wounded, I think that was really important, just to being able to trust that I can take care of myself in any situation.
Yeah, it makes me think about when you're talking about traveling, like there's maybe a sense of trust you have for yourself, like, oh, I'll figure it out,
Mhm,
well, whatever, right? Then you're bringing that same self-trust now in this setting because you're like, I have the capacity, I have the capability. So
mhm,
now how do I apply it here?
mhm.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything, last things you want to share or anything more before we end our call?
Invest in yourself. I'll say that.
Yeah. Any final words for you, Mimi?
I just didn't know how to sum it up, but that's a great, I think that's a great note to end on. Um, yeah, it's worth it. And this goes so far beyond a or a speaking situation. I applied things that I'm working on now, just with family, with friends, and in life. And yeah, it's just been life changing.
Yeah. When you say when you say like invest in yourself, is that something that you would have been like, I don't know how to or why I should back in the day? Or is like are you feeling like what like how did would that felt to you back in the day for you to be like, just invest in yourself? Would you be like, oh, still hesitant? And what would you say to that hesitancy around like, why is it so important to invest in yourself?
Yeah, so like Cadiz last year, she's very used to like putting others before herself and always like deferring, um, just bettering myself or investing that time. And I would say to her now, like, you can't pour from an empty cup
Mm,
or
mm-hmm.
pour from a cup that doesn't even have that much substance. And you're only able to kind of show up as your best self when you take that time to, self-improve and, you know, accomplish those goals that you set for yourself too.
Yeah. And I also remember when you told me, like, when you signed up, we had a chat, and you're like, oh, I read all these books, like self growth books, but I wasn't able to apply it because it's like you don't have, it's not such a controlled setting, right? It's like hard to remember, like, which thing do I apply and how often and stuff like that, right? But this is kind of more of a controlled setting in a community that kind of helps you to stick with
Mm,
it.
yeah, for sure. And be more accountable too.
Because I'd be like, Psh, are you not doing this? What about you, Mimi? We'll just close it before she hops on.
Um, with the invest in myself, yeah, I think it's because the fear that I had that I associated with speaking, it really limited me from experiencing things, from going after opportunities, from showing up to things that I wish I would have been more present in. And so I think when I'm saying invest in myself, it's just like invest in having a more fulfilled life experience, human experience. So yeah, I did it through my formal education. I did it through a boot camp. Why not do it for, how I feel and how I want to show up and live life. So
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks, guys.